For this editing exercise, you have the opportunity to write to solicit the five senses. As a recap, the five senses are taste, touch, sight, hearing, and smell. You're going to see me and observe me use a lot of figurative language throughout this process, so I'll probably be using some similes, uh, likely using a few lists along the process as well. But the step by step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one object and use that object to solicit the reader's five senses and form a connection with that object because it plays a pivotal role in both my setting and my plot. You don't want to just choose some type of random object that doesn't have any impact because you want to include your five senses. Sometimes you can use things like the climate. The mentor text has the weather, and that's something that people tap into. You want to choose something that's very universal for a universal experience for your audience. In this case, I'm going to choose coffee because I think that many people have a sensory reaction to coffee. And so here's how you'd be able to add that into your draft. So my sentence is maybe it was embarrassment from the day before. Maybe this time it was shame for how complicated his coffee order was. And what I'm going to do as the writer right now is I'm going to choose to use I'm going to choose to make coffee and the time it takes to make the coffee as a way for it to pass the time. So I'm going to do two things in this process. One, I'm going to solicit the five senses. Two, I'm going to use the plot or the concept of setting and time in order to pull along that object. Because as we know, when you're waiting in line for coffee to be made, it's passing of time. The rest of my plot sentences that you can see on the screen show you that this person does not want to be seen, and so I want to build the awkwardness of that through the soliciting the five senses of coffee. So let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and start with a taste. Okay, so here's what I've added. The bitterness from the cups of coffee he had before remained in his senses. The other bitterness of the relationship was a different taste in his mouth, foreign. The smell of the Caribbean freshly ground, the smell of the Caribbean freshly ground hazelnuts, coffee, beans, and wet rain all reminded him of his first cup. I'm going to take out wet rain because that's a uh, rain is always wet. Freshly ground hazelnuts, coffee bean, and rain all remind him of his first cup. So notice how I tapped into uh, sight, touch, taste. Now I'm going to tap into some hearing. Either way, his goal was the same: avoid being seen. With his head down, he retracted his steps into the coffee shop, towards the farthest part of the room instead of the far corner table. I'm going to add in some hearing, some the sense of hearing here. I'm going to use onomatopoeia. So the word sounds like it is. Okay, so I added in some personification as well. So either way, let's see what I added. Grinding and whirring, the coffee attendant matched the impatience. Coffee machine matched the impatience of the attendant as it called over the jazz music, rescuing them both from the subtle silences of the space. So I'm going to add in one more to this, and that would be touch. He reached for the sugar packets and felt their cornered edges and enjoyed their separation. Now, a little bit of a reflection. The reason why I chose that is because it's the place that he wants to be next is in the corner. I also added that to the sentence. So he's holding the. I wanted him to hold the sugar packet and then crease the edge. So I'm going to actually write that. He creased the edge and tore it open. Sugar spilled on the floor. 2 grains remained under his fingernail. The man paced his every move. So I wanted to create that intention of touch. I have something that's very big, and I have something that's very big in his hands by scale, and that is the sugar packet. And then I focus on the corner of the sugar packet, and then I focus on the tear to get the sound, and then I additionally add the granules of sugar under his fingernails, and add in those details if I wanted to, so that I have all 5 senses. I look forward to seeing your edits.